Raid Shadow Legends, let's get into our boy Shieldguard. Here he is, level 60, all geared up. But let's go ahead and close this down. Let's go over here and see what he can do. Whoa, whoa, it's too loud, it's too loud. Okay, let's see what he can do. We're going to put him on some multiple runs for campaign 12-3 Brutal. It's what a lot of people run for to get shields, to get experience, to level up your people. We're looking for fast runs, AoEs that crit, and seeing what we can get here. What do we get? 8 seconds. All right. 8 seconds. Nice. You can't really tell what he can do yet from just doing these runs. These runs are nice. They're fast runs. They're just as fast as, you know, a lot of other AoE champions that can, that can come through here and do these runs as long as we don't get held up. Okay, we got another one. He is fast enough to where he's going to take plenty of turns. Okay, we got another 8-second run. Not bad. After this next run, let's go over to his gear, or at least his skills, so we can explain to everybody how his skills work and why he's going to be a cool champion to either level up or at least play around with. So here, I don't think we get as fast of a run. We don't. Okay, so we're going to go over here. So we did some nice runs. He can be your farmer. Honestly, I think he could do almost just as good at 50 farming than he did right now on this. So we're going to go ahead and let's go over here to close this. Let's go over here to Shieldguard. Yeah, let's look at him. Look at him. Look at him. So he is an uncommon champion, but he's got sweet moves. He's got to remove one debuff from this champion every turn. It's at the end of his turn. It's not at the beginning like Doom Priest where she will just remove a stun on herself and then move and heal and all that. He has to wait till the end of his turn, but it's still very strong, very powerful. And we have this is the bread and butter of Shieldguard. This is what makes him so good. So we're going to AoE on a 2-turn cooldown, and whenever he AoEs and critical hits somebody, he's going to get 20% turn meter. So if there's 5 or more enemies, he's always going to take another turn immediately. He's going to take another turn regardless. It's going to be Shieldguard, and then Shieldguard again, and then Shieldguard again if we can lower the skill cooldown by 1. If we can do that with Reflex Gear, you get a 30% chance per turn to lower a skill cooldown. If Reflex Gear procs, boom, he's going to take another turn. Again, if there's 5 or more enemies, because he needs to AoE, he needs to crit everybody, that's fine. We got a 100% crit rate, and then he'll get the 100% turn meter to go again before any of the enemy goes and before any of your allies go. So then he'll be taking extra turns. On a skill 1, he does a decreased speed debuff, which is still very nice. And a skill 1 actually hits pretty hard compared to all my other DPS people that I have geared up. So I like it. Here we go. Now, we're going to help out with that skill 2, the AoE, that he needs to crit on, and he needs to lower the skill cooldown. He'll always crit on it, so he'll always take another turn if there's 5 or more enemies, but will he do another AoE and take a 3rd turn or a 4th turn? Depends on how lucky we are with Cycle of Violence, which is here in the Masteries. We're going to need to do 30% of their max HP damage, which isn't hard if you have it set up for decreased defense on them. You know, you do an AoE decreased defense, have Terrell out there, somebody like that, and then you've followed up with this guy, Shieldguard, and get this proc. So we got a 30% chance to proc this. Lower skill cooldown, we'll go again, no problem. And then over here, if we go over here to Cycle of Magic, 5% chance to lower skill cooldown per turn as well. So same stuff. If we have these 2 masteries along with Reflex Gear, we've got 3 different chances. So 3 different chances per turn. It will check to do the 5% on the support. You'll have a check to do the Cycle of Violence as long as you do enough damage. And then you'll have a check for the Reflex Gear if you have Reflex Gear on. I don't have Reflex Gear on, so I've just got some highlights of some good strings where he procced it and was able to do the skill cooldown and keep attacking again. I need to get some good Reflex Gear with some good crit and everything else to put on him so that I can really show that. To give me an additional chance, just 30% flat to lower it, we're going to see some crazy stuff come out of him. So that is him right now. We'll go over his gear and some of his stuff in just a moment. Let's get back to the video. So now you understand what he needs to do to keep taking turns, to keep hitting. So let's go. Let's play it. So he's an okay farmer. There aren't many farmers that can, well, there are actually a lot of farmers that can farm that quickly. A lot. Farmers aren't that hard to come by nowadays. Here we're going to give it, this is only minnow 15. So we're going to boom, decrease skill cooldown, boom, decrease skill cooldown. So we're going at it. So there you can see he went before Apothecary every time, and then he didn't decrease skill cooldown on the last one, so he's going to go do his normal hit, which would then make him ready for his next turn to do his AoE again. So boom. So we did get it. Okay, we got it again. Man, he's just tearing it up. He's dropping the hammer. He's got an axe, but it always seems like this big, I don't know what it looks like, this big rain of dust and dirt. So he's dropping it down on him. So you see how effective he can be. Now, is he this effective? Is he this great for a level 20, stage 20 stuff? He's Spirit, so he can go in Spiders 20. He can go in Ice Golems 20. He can even go in, Fire Knights 20 if you wanted to. You wouldn't want to bring him in there. He doesn't really do multiple hits like that. So Dragons 20 is a problem because Dragons 20 is magic. So we can't bring this guy in there. If you do glancing hits, you're going to do 50% less damage on your hit. Now we need to do 30% of the max HP for us to have a chance for Cycle of Violence to lower the skill cooldown. Now if I have Reflex Gear on there, I don't have to worry about it as much. At least I've got a 30% chance for Reflex Gear, and then I do have Cycle of Magic 5% chance. So I could bring him into Dragons 20, but still, you don't want to do that much less damage. So we're going to go ahead and beat this Minnow really easily. No problem. The two of us are going to solo this. Easy day. Let me skip forward a little bit. I don't want to sit here and watch this guy fight Minnow the whole time. So now we're going to go ahead and jump over to Spider. This is Spider Void. I'm trying to 2-man it. I just wanted to see String. I didn't bring him into Spiders 20 because I don't have Terrell. I have Zarg, but she's going to do an AoE, and she's forced on Spiders 20, which is Spirit, so she's not even going to proc or decrease defense that often, and that's what I need. If I'm going to go into Spiders 20, I need Terrell. I need somebody that can do an AoE, decrease defense, and then I could follow it up with my guy here, Shieldguard, especially with somebody like Martyr as a lead. Even Apothecary as a lead, giving you 21% additional defense would help out. So then he could go ahead and lay down the damage on those spiders, and if it procs for him to, if it procs for him to do a decreased skill cooldown like this, boom, boom. Did we get another one? We got another one. Then Spiders 20, he can do some damage. Does that mean you want to level him up for Spiders 20? That doesn't necessarily mean that. There are so many good teams out there. There are better options, I think, to use. I don't think you're going to run out and just go ahead and level up Shieldguard just because he can do this. Just because he has the ability to do this if you have the right setup, especially if you have Reflex Gear. I mean, just imagine all these times that I've gotten these skill cooldowns. If I had Reflex Gear, how longer could I run with some of these strings of additional skill cooldowns? How lucky could I get just to do over and over and over against some enemies? It could be pretty cool. It could be pretty fun, especially when we get stronger. If the game is coming out with glyphs, or if the game is coming out with additional features to make our champion stronger over time, which I'm sure it will, and we're kind of back into the stage, maybe not as easy as 15 was back in the day, but stage 15 and stuff before they came out with the new stage 20 is pretty easy. All you got to do is go run Minnow 15 once you get geared up. Once your account gets strong, run anything else 15, and you'll see 15 was pretty easy. You could run it with anybody, and if you had this guy, it made it even more fun because you're just running through it. You're just tearing through the stages. You're just killing everything so fast. You're getting these extra turns to do these AoEs. But again, there are people out there like Skull Crown, Bellower, tons of others that do AoE on their main. So, is it... Well, we didn't make it through this. It was only Spiders 13. So there you go. We didn't make it through there. We actually died. I don't have lifesteal gear on him. On the other video I had a lifesteal gear with him, and I think I ran 13 or something similar to it, and he was okay. He just kept getting strings and strings and kept doing AoEs, and he beat it. Here, I'm only going to do, look at that, 20k. It's not worth it. He's not even good in PvP. If I had my Lua in here, she would do 20k per hit on her AoE, which would do 60 to 70,000 on everybody, no problem. If there were 5 or more enemies, would he be able to take another turn? If we have different formats for arena, sure, he'd be able to take another turn. But I mean, how lucky are we going to get with strings of taking another turn? Is he going to hit that 3 or 4 times? Again, we already have people that can do that, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm taking him into Dragon 16 because I couldn't take him into Dragons 20 again because they're magic. I wouldn't be able to get this decreased defense, and then him being able to do this, and this. So I needed to bring it somewhere to where he could do damage well, and Zar could do the decreased defense because I don't have Terrell. So there we are. We have it in here. And Spider 20, Dragons 20, he wouldn't be good for because he's Spirit. It just won't work. So that's basically him. Let me see if I have anything else on here after we beat the dragon. We're going to jump forward, jump forward, jump forward, jump forward. Okay, so the rest of this is just dragon. So dragon 16, 3-man it. With him in here, you saw him dropping the hammer and doing those moves over and over, even though he has an axe. So let's go back over to him. Let's go back over to our boy Shieldguard. So here's the gear. Let me just click on it. If I click on the right thing, let me click on it. Each one. Go over it kind of fast. You'll see it's a lot of speed. It is a lot of crit and crit damage. And it's not updating. There we go. There we go. We got crit damage gloves at 80%. We've got defense chest. It's like the delay from the server or something's going on here. So he's beefed up. He's really beefed up. I'm trying to show you this gear and it's really not wanting to comply. And we've got speed here. We have pretty cool gear sets on here. And then we've got crit damage of 33% on the neck. And then we've got defense on these two. We've got defense on the ring, defense on the banner. Let's go over his total stats. I like that better when we can see everything. So here we are. We've got 30k HP. We're not worried about that though. We've got the defense of 2,600. We've got the speed up there at 192, 99 crit, and 217 crit damage. So he can put out the damage and do what he needs to do. Now again, would you rush out and take this guy to 60? No, you wouldn't. If you're free to play, take him to 50. Try him out at 50. Use him to help you get 3-star brutal, which you can do. Use him and somebody else. Get some life steal gear on him, and he can be your main farmer. You know, skill cooldowns are so easy. He's an uncommon. You'll have a lot of fun with him. Take him to 50. He can be your main farmer. And then if you don't have anybody else, you can take him to 60, because you're going to have a lot of even rare champions out there that can AoE, decrease defense. You saw me leveling Seducer earlier. He's at 59. He's right there next to him, actually, right here. He has a great AoE that decreases attack. He has a defense buff. Seducer's got a great kit. I'm going to do a video on him as well. So there are tons of other rares out there. Kale is amazing. He can do 10-second, 11-second farms all the time with top-end gear, just like this guy has. So, you know, there are a lot of options out there. I think he did just as well at 50 as he did at 60, really, just because I'm not able to put him into Dragons 20 to try him out until I get Terrell and other people like that. Then I can bring him in there, do a decreased defense, and just drop it down, drop it down, drop it down. And if I have reflex gear on him, just keep doing it. But, you know, you go in there with Cold Hearts, you go in there with other things. There's so many other options. There's so many champions. Do I think he's a phenomenal uncommon? Yes. He is a phenomenal uncommon champion for sure. Does damage off of his defense on both of his skill 1 and skill 2. He does slow speed on his skill 1. He has, you know, he's always going to take 2 turns as long as you have 100% turn meter and 5 or more targets to hit. So he's going to get that 100% increased turn meter. So he's going to take another turn. Whether he does an AoE or not depends on, you know, whether we hit one of those cooldowns. If he doesn't, he's still going to take another turn and hit with his main attack. And then once you go through all the cycle of your guys, and he comes to his turn again, he's going to AoE because this is going to be off cooldown. And then his passive. I mean, his passive is really good for an uncommon. I wish this passive was on some rares. I wish this passive was on some epics I have. It would be amazing. So don't rush out. Don't rush out. I even have him at 60. I even have War Master on him just to get him to do more damage. And all these other things, you know, Cycle of Violence, Cycle of Magic, to have the chance to lower. So I wanted to put out more damage. I wanted to take him in more places. And I have, so I'm still going to use him. He's a cool farmer. I still want to try him out. I'm going to grind out some more reflex gear. I'm going to get reflex gear on him. And I'll eventually be able to take him into Spiders 20 when I'm able to take him in there and just down it. Once I do that, I'll just do a Spiders 20 video with Shieldguard taking down the whole Spiders. When I get a chance to do that, who knows when that'll come around one day. But hopefully soon. Hopefully I'll get some good pulls, get some new champions, and do it. Other than that, if you have any questions about Shieldguard, let me know below. I hope I conveyed what he can do and showed you at least how he can keep doing over and over. I feel like this is kind of a repeat of the last video I did with him and showed you how amazing he is with just dropping the rain and just bringing it down time and time again, doing the AoEs. But he wasn't 60, so you got to 60 them out sometimes. You got to see what they're capable of. You got to see where you can take them. And I really want to take him into Spiders. I know I could take him right now into Ice Golems 20. I should have showed you that. I can with my teams. I mean, I've taken tons of other people into. I took Vrask into Ice Golems 20. You know, I can sub in anybody for DPS, and I will definitely sub this guy in for DPS for Ice Golems 20. Especially when they fixed AI to make sure that they always AoE, even when there's the boss and the 2-side champions. This guy is going to bring the damage to everybody. So I will have a lot of fun with him in Ice Golems 20, and I do want to get a team put together for Spiders 20 because I know he can do some damage, and I know if I have Reflex gear those 3 different times with the 2 masteries and Reflex to keep lowering his skill cooldown on Spiders, he's just going to take a lot of turns, and it's going to be pretty cool. So we'll see. Even if I don't want Reflex gear on him, you could put stun gear on him right now. You could put taunt gear on him right now. You could put poison gear on him right now. Get the turns. Still get a chance to take another turn. Drop poisons on a whole bunch of spiders or whoever you're fighting. And then, you know, he'll just AoE every time because he's hitting enough people. And that's really, there's just a lot of fun things you can play around with him. So if you do have any questions on Shieldguard, put it down below. Let me know. That's all I got for Shieldguard. I will come out with some other videos on some other champions like Seducer that you see there, like Doom Priest that you see there, and whoever else. Apothecary. Somebody asked me to, a couple people have asked me recently for Apothecary stuff. So we will go over Apothecary as well. As always, I appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.